Hello, 911. What's your emergency?
There's blood. She's not coming back up. A whale, a beluga. It attacked the trainer. Please, we need help right now. SeaWorld Orlando, medical tank 3.
Stay calm. Is the trainer breathing?
She's under. It's dragging her under the water. She came up for a second, but oh God, there's so much blood.
On the morning of June 18th, 2018, an emergency call was made from SeaWorld Orlando. A 31-year-old trainer, Julia Robert, had just entered the water with a beluga named Cairo, but she never came back out alive. Julia Robert was 31 years old. She wasn't just a trainer, she was an ocean soul. She believed that between the crashing waves and the deep currents, there was a silent language, one only the patient and the brave could understand. For nearly 10 years, Julia worked at SeaWorld Orlando. She rose through the ranks not because she was loud, but because she listened to the trainers, to the guests, but most of all, to the animals. She had a calmness that tamed storms, and to those watching her that day, she looked fearless, smiling, graceful, confident. She moved with intention, one hand raised to greet the cheering crowd, the other guiding her partner below the surface. Her partner that day was Cairo, a 2,800-pound male beluga whale, powerful, intelligent, and, most of all, unpredictably silent. He was different, not aggressive, but disconnected. Trainers had noticed he was restless for days, circling more, eating less, and avoiding contact. Still, Julia insisted on working with him. She had known Cairo for 6 years, trusted him, loved him, and on June 18, 2018, in front of more than 300 guests, Julia walked onto the platform for what would unknowingly be her final show. But beneath the surface, Cairo had already made a decision. If this story already shakes you, if what you've heard so far has stirred something deep inside, then don't stay silent. Like this video to stand for safety. Share it so others hear Julia's story. Subscribe, because there's more that the world needs to know. This isn't just a tragedy. It's a warning. And what happened next should never be allowed to happen again. It was a full house at SeaWorld Orlando. Not a single empty seat in the arena. The air smelled of popcorn, sunscreen, and excitement. Julia stood tall, the ocean behind her, the crowd before her, and Cairo by her side. To the audience, this was magic, a graceful woman dancing with a creature of the deep. And then, she raised her hand for the breach. The crowd held its breath, but Cairo didn't rise. He dove and came back up like a torpedo. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. He hit her from below. The impact was brutal. Julia's body was tossed into the air like a rag doll, and before she could scream, he had her arm, and he dragged her under. At first, some thought it was part of the act, a stunt, a surprise. But then the water turned red, and that illusion shattered. Blood floated to the surface. Julia's hand appeared, reaching, desperate. But Cairo struck again, pulled her down. And this time, she didn't come back. She surfaced once, just once. Her eyes wide with disbelief, agony, and betrayal. And then, only silence. The crowd stood frozen, witnesses to something no one should ever see. In the chaos that followed, every second was a war against time. Dive teams were mobilized within minutes. Trainers shouted orders, some begging for access to the water. But Cairo was still there, circling, watching, agitated. A 2,800-pound barrier between them and Julia. Protocols were in place. No diver could enter until Cairo was isolated. It was too dangerous. And every moment, Julia was still underwater. They tried everything. Noise distractions, food buckets, underwater gates. But nothing could lure him away. He wasn't playing. He was guarding. For 19 unbearable minutes, Julia Robert fought for her life beneath the surface. Trainers banged on the acrylic walls. Her colleagues screamed her name. Her lungs gave out. Her ribs shattered, and her heartbeat faded. They pulled her out just before 8 a.m. Her wetsuit was torn, her face pale. There was no pulse. Despite desperate efforts, Julia Robert was pronounced dead at 7:42 a.m. the following morning. The crowd was gone, but her blood still rippled on the surface. If this moment made you stop, if Julia's story hit your heart like it hit ours, hit like, not for the algorithm, but in honor of every trainer who steps into the water without knowing if they'll come back. And subscribe, because we tell the stories they never put in headlines. Because someone needs to remember what really happened here. What happened on June 18th, 2018 didn't come out of nowhere. Cairo, the 2,800-pound beluga, had been changing, and the warning signs were everywhere. He'd begun floating in isolation for hours, refusing toys, refusing food, refusing even Julia's voice. He slammed his body against the tank walls again and again, his skin bruised, his eyes hollow. Some trainers raised red flags. There were memos, meetings. One staff member even wrote, "He's not safe. He needs time off the schedule." But no changes were made. They knew something was wrong. We all did. But pulling him from the show would have meant refunds, bad press, questions. So they said nothing. Why was Julia sent into the water that day? Why was a restless, unstable, agitated whale cleared to perform for a packed stadium of families? Because silence was easier than change. Cairo wasn't born a killer. He didn't choose this life. He was taken, ripped from the cold Arctic waters where his pod once swam beneath glaciers, where songs echoed under ice, where freedom wasn't a performance. Instead, Cairo's world became concrete walls, tank lights that never truly turned off, dead silence at night, and screams during the day. He was trained with frozen fish, conditioned with whistles, pushed to dance for crowds, applauded for tricks that had nothing to do with who he really was. He wasn't evil. He was exhausted, his mind fractured by isolation, his body aching from years of repetition, and his spirit long broken. Julia gave him love. She gave him care. But when he snapped, what he gave back wasn't hatred. It was the only thing captivity had taught him. Violence, desperation, survival. For Julia, for Cairo, and for every voiceless life still circling a tank, do not look away. Do not buy a ticket. This cycle must end. If Julia's story moved you, like this video, so the world can feel what you just felt. If you believe in truth, subscribe, so more voices, more stories can rise above silence. And if you refuse to forget what happened here, share it. Let her memory ripple beyond this screen. They say time heals, but the water still remembers. The sound of her voice, her laughter echoing through the tunnels, the gentle way she touched the surface. It all lingers here, in the silence. She gave them everything, her time, her heart, her trust. And in return, they gave her applause, until the day they gave her silence. This wasn't just an accident. It wasn't just a tragedy. It was a warning, one paid for in blood. Not just Julia's, but every soul forced to dance for entertainment. Remember her name, Julia Robert. She believed love was enough, but in captivity, even love has limits.